Hi, my name is Doug Robertson, and I'm live from Q16, and we're talking to Brad and Alan about what they're doing here. So, gentlemen, why don't you tell them what you're doing here?
Thanks. I'm Brad. This is Alan.
Yeah.
And we're here to talk a little bit about PORTS, which is Parks Online Resources for Teachers and Students. It's a California State Park program where we do live video conferences from parks directly into K-12 classrooms. And I work closely with Alan and the K-12 high-speed network to make it all happen.
So, like, this is how you go down a slide. This is how swings work.
A little more natural and cultural stuff. We cover academic content focused on science and history. We do redwood ecology, geology, ancient civilizations taught in the context of Hearst Castle, which is a state park, if you didn't know that. And yeah, we do that all the way from K up to 12.
So, you talk parks, you're talking about like the national parks, the state parks in California.
Well, I work for state parks, so we
State
talk about
parks.
state parks. Yeah, no problem. But there are a lot of beautiful national parks in California, like Yosemite. And we're actually only one of many content providers around the country that do this kind of programming. But yeah, we do programs from 10 different California state parks. Like I said, science and history, basically.
And then what do you do with the program?
Well, I'm with the K-12 high-speed network, and we provide the the technical backbone for which they're able to provide these services to students. So we connect schools to our network, and they're connected to our network, and we provide the services, that bridging service that allows those two entities to connect with each other.
So this seems like there's going to be a lot of technology going on. If you're connecting students in classrooms to these parks, what kind of technology are we talking about here? What can our kids be learning about? What do you need to do?
Well, over the last year, we've really changed our system to make it a lot easier for the classroom, because before, years ago, you had to have really expensive, high-end video conferencing equipment, but now with our new system, you can do it with an iPad, a telephone, a computer. It really doesn't matter. You can connect basically with anything that you have in the classroom in order to be able to provide that service to get to the state park.
And then what kind of technology is going on in the state parks so that we can see what's going on?
Yeah, so we're trying to provide a really rich environment for students to learn. My goal for California State Parks is to try to bring the students as close to the resource as humanly possible. So where we used to do a lot of green screen studio technology, where we could bring students out into the 600,000 acre park of Anza Borrego, all from one studio. Now, because technology has gotten more and more mobile, we can actually be outside, be on the beach, delivering a program about tide pools from the edge of the Pacific Ocean using wireless and mobile technology. And just this year, we're launching a program where we're going to talk about kelp forests from Monterey Bay at Point Lobos State Natural Reserve, and we're going to be doing that from the deck of a kayak.
That's really cool. Is there any way, I realize you can't talk underwater, but can you get like a waterproof GoPro or something like that?
Yeah. So we're testing right now, putting GoPro underwater, extending the wireless range up to the top of the deck, and then being able to essentially have a 2-camera operation. One of them would be the GoPro underwater, so we can be talking to students from the kayak and say, well, let's show you what's happening underwater right now.
That's really cool. And then that's a conversation that can happen. So you guys are getting a live feedback from the classroom.
Yeah, so we don't do webcasts or webinar-style programs. Every program is one ranger to 30 to 35 students, one class period. When a teacher has 6 periods of science, we'll do all 6 periods that day. So we don't want assembly style. We want this to be engaging, interactive, and most of all, we want students to learn about California state parks and the science and history behind it.
And one of the things with the state parks related to the other providers that you can find across the country, museums or stuff, they're very innovative, in my opinion. And they really think forward, and they're trying to push the envelope to do many things like putting an iPad underwater or putting a GoPro cam underwater. They're very forward thinking and trying to do new and innovative ways to bring new experiences to the students in the classroom.
And the reason behind all of this is we know less and less teachers are coming out to parks for field trips. So why not use innovative technology to meet students where they are in the classroom? And we couldn't do it without the K-12 high-speed network and the Imperial County Office of Ed and all of our education partners, including Q, which gives us the opportunity to promote the program out to thousands of teachers. So it's an important opportunity for us.
Yeah, I teach 5th grade up in Portland, and we've done a similar thing, but we Skyped into some scientists out on a boat that were doing doing science with ocean salinity and stuff like that, but they made it for 5th graders. It sounds kind of similar to what you guys are doing, except your connection is probably better than what our connection was. It was really bad. So how do teachers get in touch with you? How can we set this up?
Yeah, well, our website is www.ports.parks.ca.gov.
And that's ports, Ports.
That's correct. And you can find a menu of all the parks that deliver programs and the topics behind it. We write all of our programs for a specific grade level, but we're happy to adjust up and down the grade levels, just like you would if you were to take your students on a field trip to a park. We don't say, oh, we don't know how to talk to 4th graders. We only talk to 7th graders. We'll adapt that, just like your scientists did for 5th grade in your salinity program.
And it's not just a video conference. There's a whole curriculum with lessons, units of study, PowerPoints, handouts, whatever is needed that were written by California teachers that meet state standards, national standards, that the teachers can use that then kind of prep the students for that culminating video conference with whichever state park they're going to.
Because that's definitely a problem that we have. If you go into it blind and then the kids are like, ask them a question, and the kids don't have any questions because they don't have any background. So to have a background like that is really helpful. So where did this come from? Like, how long have you been going on?
Yeah, this program started about a dozen years ago, believe it or not, and we've evolved ever since. And again, it was born out of the idea that we know that we need to engage, in California state parks, we need to engage a wider, more diverse audience. K-12 in California alone represents 3.1 million students that truly reflect the changing demographics of this state. So for us to be able to engage with them wholesale in an engaging and meaningful way, this was the way that we thought we could do it. And a dozen years later, again, thanks to the partnerships in K-12 education, we can make that happen. We talk to about 50,000 kids a year, do about 1,500 individualized presentations from 10 different park sites. So everyone's doing hundreds of presentations all year long. We have staff that's dedicated just to this innovative program in California state parks. And we consistently see that teachers, they love it, they want it, and they want more.
So do teachers, when they reach out to you, they say, we're doing a unit on tide pools, so we need you to talk about tide pools? Or can they just say, this sounds really cool, we want you to do a thing, and you guys work together with the teachers?
We'll customize as much as we can. Our goal is to try to teach the content standards in the context of that park. So tide pools in the context of Crystal Cove, the Gold Rush history in the context of Columbia State Historic Park. But if a teacher says, well, I'm focusing more on communities in the Gold Rush and not, the westward expansion, we'll cover that. We have the ability to go ahead and change it all up.
That's really interesting. I just had a question and it went out of my head. Do you have something to say?
I was going to say their program's very adaptable, and all of their park interpreters who work at each one of those locations are very adaptable to be able to teach to whatever grade level or to change whatever the course of the written curriculum is to whatever is more accommodating to that particular teacher and what that teacher wants.
So do you have a particular park or camera that you're like, this is the coolest thing, this is the one I want everybody to check out?
Well, I think it's probably the newest best thing, right? Again, doing a program from a kayak where we're literally kayaking in this open cove and showing students underwater live. I think that's probably my favorite thing right now. We've been doing programs for, like I said, a dozen years. And our tide pool program is fantastic. We go underwater in that as well. I like the ocean. I'm an ocean person, so I'll probably lean towards that stuff. But our Gold Rush history programs are fantastic because every 4th grader in California learns about Gold Rush history. And 20 years ago, they were reading a book. And 10 years ago, they were watching a DVD. 5 years ago, students were researching the Gold Rush on the web. And now they can access somebody who's in a Gold Rush park, knows the content, knows the history, knows how to engage students, and it can have a real-time, two-way conversation about the Gold Rush with the content expert.
That's fantastic. That's so cool. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and talking to me. You guys have a session to run to right now. I don't want you to be late, so have a great session.
Thanks a lot.